Welcome to A New Voice in Coaching, where we discuss the new innovations coaching is bringing to our world. Whether you're a coach or interested in coaching, whether you are a leader in your business, organization, or home, here we have authentic conversations around the practical tools coaching is bringing to every area of life and culture around us. Well, welcome to A New Voice in Coaching. I'm Connie Jakab, and I'm so excited to be here with Heather Bell Williams, live and in the flesh, all the way from New Brunswick, here with me in Calgary.
Thanks, Connie. It's exciting to be here and to see this amazing office and to meet all you wonderful people in person.
In person, we've known each other now for, almost maybe a year.
Yes.
And the weird COVID pandemic world has connected us through Zoom.
Which is wonderful, but not nearly as good as in person.
No, it's true.
Lovely.
So this is very special. So I wanted to take a minute to bring Heather on here because, Heather, you are a school principal. And for how long have you been doing that?
I've been in education for about 33 years, and I've been a principal or vice principal for about 25 of those years, give or take. I took some time off and did some different things and worked for the district, but always came back to the school.
Wow. And so what brought you back to the school? I'm curious.
That's an interesting question. Each time when I took a break and did district work or did other work, I was on leave, and I had the option to stay at the district level at a more managerial level, and it was interesting. I literally ran back to the school each time. There's something about the urgency and the intensity of school life that really attracted me and kept me there over many, many decades, actually, many years and several decades. So the intensity, the urgency, that the sense that every minute mattered, and it was just, there were kids there that needed to learn things and be taught, and there were staff that needed to be nurtured and led. So
that's incredible. Well, clearly then you get a lot of purpose from this.
Absolutely. I think in my early days, like a lot of people might be doing early in their career, they might take too much of their identity and sense of purpose from their work. I think I fell into that camp for a while at the outset of my career, and then I realized that it was taking over, and that sense of purpose and call can get clouded over when you're working too much and when you're a bit of an overachiever, like I tend to be, and I have those high expectations for myself and other people. So mid-career, I realized, as I was raising kids and engaged in our church community, that there were other facets to life. And if I wanted to, flourish and thrive, I needed to be more balanced. And so, yes, still maintain a passion and a call, but not let that overtake you.
Wow, that's a word for the day, actually. I think that anyone listening could really hear that. Teachers, educators, anyone on a front line, parents, this idea that a lot of things can really overtake us. And through COVID, I mean, I've heard school principals say I had a 10-year plan to get out of education. I now have a 1-year plan to get out of education.
Absolutely. We hear big picture in our culture about the Great Resignation, and really it's just beginning in terms of post-pandemic or as we emerge into an endemic. And I think it's going to be very, very telling to see how education and other social service groups come out of the pandemic in terms of the number of people that are potentially thinking about changing the range, about leaving and going on to other things, or just leaving because they're tired and burnt out. And that would be a passion of mine to see people thrive. And if they want to leave and do something else and, make a difference in another area, that's great. But if you're leaving because you're tired and your bucket hasn't been filled, then that's where I think folks like you and Abe and everyone at Flourishing can come on board and bring people new purpose and help them to thrive.
Yeah.
Not just survive.
Not just survive.
We've been just surviving for 2.5 years. Just living along day to day with different restrictions and different complications. And anyone that's had to operationalize any of the restrictions with groups of people understands that tired and exhaustion that comes from hearing today at 7 o'clock in the evening that there's a change for the restrictions that are going to come into effect tomorrow morning at 7:30 with the students getting off the bus. And so after a couple of years of that, people are tired.
They're tired.
And their souls are hungry for just nourishment and that ability to make a difference again and not just operationalize rules and those kinds of things.
Yes, that definitely is the feeling out there.
Yes.
People are tired. And so you're, speaking of tired, you're not tired, but you're retiring and you're going into something really wonderful. Like, tell us what's next for you.
Well, it's really interesting. I did have a plan to retire probably in 5 years. And during COVID, lots of things came together to help me see that there were still opportunities, that I still had gas in my tank to give and to make a difference. And I felt like I could make a difference in new places and that, someone else could come along to the school level and take the school to new places that I couldn't take it in the last 20 years, that it's time for change. So I've just started my own business, Consult HBW, and I've joined the Flourishing Tribe and looking forward to I've already started doing some life coaching and leadership coaching. So I'm doing that. I'm also part-time with the Principal Center, working on a book with an author colleague, consultant, Justin Bader. We have a book coming out in June for educational leaders. And so looking forward to doing all kinds of facilitating and conversations with people.
Oh, isn't that fantastic?
It's pretty exciting.
It is very
I'm pretty
exciting.
pumped, yeah.
I actually get excited. This sounds bad. Please don't anybody retire tomorrow after I say this, but I get excited when I hear people like yourself who've been in education for as long as you have, retiring, but yet still investing in it, because I think we need your voice. You're right. We need some fresh leadership, people who can do maybe what we haven't done, but you have something to offer those who are in education and even out of education, but something that they can continue to make a difference, to pour into them. So what is your heart for educators once you're done your day job?
Once I'm done my day job, I may take a little vacation. And then my heart for educational leaders in particular, they are just balancing so many things. Like I envision one of those jugglers, on a street performer with just, dozens of balls in the air that they're trying to manage. They're trying to operationalize post-COVID, safety for their students and their staff. And most of all, they're trying to support the students and staff through whatever mental health challenges are erupting post-pandemic. We had so many mental health concerns and so many students and staff who were dealing with all kinds of trauma before COVID came along. And in whatever way, that has just traumatized, the pandemic's traumatized everyone on another level. And so we're seeing it in children as they come back to school with huge deficits academically, but huge deficits socially. If you're a little kiddo in grade 1 or grade 2, you've never experienced pre-pandemic school where you played outside at recess with groups of children and learned to get along with people other than those in your class. Just simple things like that. And so I see a real mental health challenge for all of our school leaders as they work on their own mental health, but then help their staff in particular to flourish and thrive as they come out of this. And it's unknown territory. We don't know how to do it. And so I look forward to working alongside the school leaders and helping them sort through that and come out and come through it with healthy and flourishing lives.
Well, and we are so excited for you to venture into this. That's one of our hearts here at Flourishing, is to really equip people in answers to problems that are out there using this coaching lens, but having coaching as the vehicle in which to create change, the vehicle in which to be able to establish relationship and consult like you're doing. And I think that's incredible. And I want everyone listening to just, maybe you're not an educator or you're not a school principal and you're like, wow, that's really wonderful that Heather's doing that. But I want you to start thinking about what are some of the problems that you're seeing out there and think, what answers lie within me that I could provide solutions. It's not that we're trying to save the world. I mean, this is a big problem, and there's one Heather. But imagine if you saw problems and there was one of you and a bunch of us, 20 of us got together and started to think about how we could rise up with some solutions in our heart. Imagine what could happen.
We could change the world.
Well, and that's on my list of things to do today, Heather.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love chatting with people who have that on their list of things to do.
Is that on your list of things to do today? I mean, obviously that's not going to happen tomorrow, but I'm just so proud of you, Heather. And I just want to say thanks for being a part of our podcast today. And education is in really good hands as you continue on, even after retirement. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.